I'm back. I might stay on this rig this morning. I don't know. It's a little easier to do the recording on here than having to set up my phone and all that stuff. Anyway, good morning, Glenn, 7-3 Henry, and Gary. Those are sounding good coming from thousands of miles away. Well, not quite that far. Gary, you might be about 1,000 miles away. And Henry, you're probably close to it too, so far enough away. But anyway, Glenn, what's going on? What's been happening? M1SNG W3MMR.
Yeah, W3MMR. N1SNG again. Very good morning to you, Perry. And it's just sounding fantastic here. I don't know what you're on. Sometimes it's hard to tell. The DX100, the Anon, they match up pretty close. So either one is doing just fine there. And yeah, 17 degrees here this morning again. And I got a fire going in the wood stove. Pretty toasty upstairs. I do not have to work this weekend, so got a little time off. Got a contractor coming in to look at the floors in the living room. Had some damage when they moved some furniture in and out. So he's going to come and repair that. Probably an indoor day today because of the weather. But no real reason to go outside. Not much going on there. It's probably all frozen up anyway. And yeah, I just plan the usual radio schedules. Yeah, Milradnet. Sometimes I'll get in during the week, just to stop and go. And last weekend we had the nieces and nephews over, and I brought the little guy down here. He's 5 years old, so I got him to work the trains. I got a train set in the back there, big Lionel set up, and so I gave him the controls for a little bit there. And I always throw some candy bars in the cars, when they come around, he can grab them there, so he gets a kick out of that. Then he found his way into the radio room here, and nothing was really going on. So we started asking questions. So I said, well, then a quick fix, I'll fire up the little Kenwood TS440. And N1YTN was in there, Glenn, and N1PS, I think it's Peter. They were in conversation there. So I did break in, and I got the little guy to say a few words into the microphone there. And he was thrilled with that. He was just so thrilled because the first thing he went to when he came in the shack was the microphones. The D104. Then I have the Kenwood. I have I think it's an HM60 on there, desktop mic. So we got a thrill out of that, boy. He was like, he was ready for a merit badge. I don't force it on them, if they're interested, and I'll walk them through it. But it was nice to kind of get a break there with Glenn and Peter, and Glenn had a few words to say with them, and just a little 5-minute QSO. So I thought that was pretty neat. Other than prior to that, a few years back, he was just a little ball of fire there. So getting him in the radio room would be a little bit of a fix there. But anyway, yeah, it sounded great, and yeah, we Valentine's Day, okay, nothing big here. It's just another day, but we dress it up a little bit with some dinner and some nice cards and stuff. So that works out pretty well. Everything's fully operational here. Looking around the shack, trying to simplify things. I have so many wires and coax cables under the tables and up against the wall, and I don't even know where they go. I'd have to trace them all. Never drew a schematic or a treasure map, and well, everything is in place. It's just thinking one of these days I might tidy it up a little bit.
Maybe 2 SDRs.
Something, maybe it's old to cause, Okay, Perry, get it back to you. And, yeah, we're just working on the first cup of coffee here, so still waking up. W3MMR, N1SNG.
Yeah, real good, Glenn. I think my father may be in there. So go ahead, pick it up, Pop, and then send it to me. Go ahead and make one there. And I'll comment on what Glenn was saying. W2SDI, W3MMI.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, guys. W3MMR and the group W2SDR. Good morning, Glenn. Perry, you're a little bit backscattered this morning, Glenn. Good copy. Fine on all the family itinerary. Not much going on here. Just woke up about 15 minutes ago, put the coffee on, came down, warmed the stuff up. Yep. 17 degrees here this morning. Finally, wintertime temperatures here in the old hacienda. Well, not inside. It's not that cold. But outside it is. Over to you, Perry. W3MMR in the group. W2SDR. Good copy here. So far, so good.
Good morning, friends.
Who was that saying good morning? Was that you, Henry, saying good morning real quick?
Yeah, it was. I was saying good morning to friends.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure he says good morning right back. Or we'll say good morning right back. Anyway, I'll make this a quick one. Boy, it's 12 degrees here. 12.9. It's falling rapidly. It was 13.7 when I woke up at 3:30. Or 3:45-ish, and now it's 12.9. Yeah, I've been on here for a little while. I'm almost done my first cup of coffee. I was on here with Henry and Gary K0VW. I'm trying to get Henry's FT2000 sounding decent on AM, and I think Gary may really made some strides with him. Got it sounding good there, and well, bummer on the damage to the floors there, Glenn. Real good. The contractor's coming. Hopefully it doesn't cost too much. Did you say that there was damage? Or somebody was trying to move something? I was over here trying to... not paying attention. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm trying to do stuff over here, and I should just be sitting still. Was somebody, over moving something, you said, and damaged the floor? So if that's the case, hopefully you don't have to pay for it. Or maybe you were moving stuff, and so you will have to foot the bill. Real good on the little one coming over, and the trains, and I always enjoyed trains. There's a really big train store close to me. It's about probably 15 minutes away. Tim Smith Trains. I mean, in this place, it's a toy store. It's Tim Smith Trains and Toys. And, I mean, this place, literally, you walk in here, you would think that a hoarder owns the place, but everything has its place in these small little teeny aisles, but there's train stuff from floor to ceiling, and there's multiple floors of it. And everything from the littlest gauge to the biggest to the rarest stuff to the, antiques to brand new stuff to different kinds of track and then all to other types of hobby stuff there that you can imagine. Or is it Tim Smith? No, Nicholas Smith, I think is the name of it. On the next one, I'll look it up just to be sure. But yeah, I think it's Nicholas Smith. And I used to stop in there when I was on test drives. So I used to work right down the street. I used to stop in there and spend 10 minutes or so in there, then go back to work. Don't tell the boss. Real good on the little one getting on the mic. Yeah, my son's 8, and he likes to get on the microphone here. And of course, I'd love him to get into radio, but I mean, he's a kid, and there's video games now, and he's really big into the video game stuff. But last time he was up, he was here for Christmas. He lives with his mom in South Carolina. I think you probably know that. I taught him how to solder. And if you're familiar with my YouTube channel, there's a couple videos on there of me teaching him how to solder and stuff. He did so good. So good. He did accidentally grab the hot end of the iron and burn his hand. But once he put a little bit of ice on it, 10 minutes later, he wanted to come back in and finish up his solder job. So I was real proud of him for that. And nope, didn't do much here on Valentine's Day. My Valentine is my dog. So I came home and yesterday and got here, got on the radio for a little bit, said hi to Chris, WTJBL, and that was pretty much it. So back up to you, Glenn, N1SNG and the Old Mill Rat Predent. This is W3MMR.
K0VUW, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Gary. K0VUW. Nice signal into Rhode Island this morning. It's Glenn, and we're in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. R13 SP600. So, get it over to you in a minute there. And, hey, that's great, Perry. You know, unfortunately, the burn interrupted the soldering there, but he came right back and got into that. So that's interesting. You know, it's tough to get their attention span with some of the old school stuff, but it's good that they learn. You know, they've got some bragging rights there, that's for sure. Yeah, I think it's Tim Smith trains. I have bought some items off of him. I think he carries the reproductions for the old American Flyer. You know, accessories and the little missing parts that come off of the trains and the little remote control stuff. And so yeah, what a blast of the past that must have been. Yeah, so we have a mixed a batch of trains here. I still have my original Alco 232 from when I was just about 10 years old, I believe. That's all that remained. Then I went up to Nearfest and I picked up a Lionel transformer. Was under a table. It's one of the ZWs. It's that big dual handle. I think weighs about 20 pounds. And I cleaned it all up. I rebuilt it, put new diodes in, and, you know, just went through the whole thing there. And fired up the little train there, O gauge. And then I said, well, I might as well see if it works. So then it all started. You know, $1,500 later, I got a 4x8 sheet of plywood, you know, all nice, got the little, you know, all the little display things there, the water tower and the switches, and bought more cars, and, you know, of course you go on eBay, the candy store, right? But anyway, it's a lot of fun. They do enjoy it when they come over. Him and his sister there, so I keep it rolling for that reason. And, of course, I enjoy it myself, too. I get on and always do the maintenance on it, make sure everything is correct. For each holiday, I kind of decorated it a little bit. But anyway, just a little, it's for the kids. And, well, I can't say all for the kids. But anyway, very good morning to you, Frank. Very, very nice signal this morning. Just your usual audio file. Great audio there. Just fantastic. And I heard K0VUW in there, Gary, coming back. So what time is it? All right. So I'm going to send it over to Frank. And I don't know if Henry's back in here yet or not. But anyway, Frank, when you're done, could you pass it to K0VUW, Gary? I think that's how it's going to go here. Again, good morning, Frank. Over to you. This is N1SNG on the ART-13.
All right, Glenn. K0VUW. I mean, N1SNG in the group. W2SDR. Okay, good copy all the way around. On the FT101 this morning, modulating the FT101 using a Hammerlin HQ160 as a receiver. I guess I haven't had this on since last Saturday. Trying to think if I even been on AM since last week. Probably not. Most of my activity has been on either single sideband in the mornings and Yaesu Fusion system, FM, so digital audio. That's been my operating over the last week, pretty much. And going to the dentist and paying $200 for a filling. I had to, I don't have dental insurance, and I had to pay, as I go. And I actually looked that up on the internet, and the average cost is between, $125 and like $200 for a one surface filling. So, prices have gone up. But dental insurance is just too expensive. And even if you get it, it doesn't cover a lot of stuff. So, you're still out of pocket. A lot of out-of-pocket stuff going on in this world, for sure. Coffee tasting mighty good. Fine, Perry, you're up bright and early. I went to bed early, about 8:30. But I figured, I looked at the clock around 3:30. There's no way I wanted to get up. And I didn't want to oversleep. I don't want to miss the old mill rat now, I'll tell you. Okay, let me turn it to Gary. And I think there's a Henry, too, somewhere lurking. So don't want to forget about Henry. I think Perry said there was a Henry in there. So let me turn it to you, Gary. Then you could maybe dig out Henry if he's there. K0VUW in the group, W2SDR, Salem County, Southern New Jersey.
PWW. Okay, Frank and the rest of the gang. Good morning. Here is Kilowatt Zero Victory United Whiskey, Gary, in Wildwood, Missouri, where everybody's coming in really great. Let me let this drop for a second. My one relay is hanging up. There we go. It needs to be loved. It likes to get tapped twice, apparently. Good morning, Henry, Perry, Glenn, Frank, and I think I heard Ted breaking there. So, I woke up around, 1:45, I guess, Central Time. And I had an appointment to meet Henry here earlier. And we thought, this will work out perfect. I'm usually always running at the tail end of the military net, so I'll be able to get in here early. And signal should be much better this time of morning. Not as cold as yesterday. It's about 16 this morning. Yesterday it was like -1, with a wind chill about -9. I don't know what the wind chill is, but it's probably lower because yesterday we didn't have as much wind, but this morning I was out there with the dogs out, and it was pretty breezy. I'm using my I've had a couple of R390s in rack cabinets, and I found a brand new made R390 cabinet made out of 16 gauge steel, weighs 50 pounds. So when you put the radio in there, reminded me when I was young and strong trying to lift this puppy up. But I'm listening to you on the R390 running the BC 610 Charles. So Henry, down there to you, partner, and thanks for letting us in, everybody, and look forward to the net. N4EDQ, K0VUW, and turn it to W3TWW. I think that's Ted's call from memory. K0VUW.
QSL, very good morning there, everybody. This is N4 Echo Delta Queen in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Good to be in here this morning. I just wanted to say hi. Don't know if I'm going to stay for the net or not, but most likely I will. And Frank, haven't talked to you for quite a while. You're sounding good down here in Blue Ridge. I'm in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and Jerry and I were up this morning doing some stuff. Felt back good. Barry, I sent you a picture. I sent you a picture too, Gary, of that time that will remind me. You could read that one. Anyway, let me give it to Ted. I've talked to Ted for a long time. W3PWW. I think I got it right. N4EDQ. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Great signals again this weekend. Everybody's up around the 60 to 70 to 80 mark on the R390A, on the T368C here this morning. And hearing everybody good. Glenn and Frank and Perry and Gary out there in Missouri, and for EDQ down here in Georgia, very good. And Glenn, yeah, way back, I got a train set. It was what they did. They would the parents, would get the kid the engine and the caboose maybe in one car, and then next Christmas you get a couple more. But unfortunately, Pearl Harbor happened, and well, Lionel wasn't making trains anymore; they were making telegraph keys. So had got a couple of them when the war was over. So kind of nice to have one of them. So don't know where it goes, but I guess Glenn is the top of the list again. So Glenn, here she comes up to you. N1 SNG W3PWW, and go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Ted.
Comes to me, then you,
Perry. Perry, why don't you pick it up and then pass it to me?
All right. Yeah, it's the way I got it. Here. Good morning, Ted. Big signal this morning. The T3 is sounding marvelous as always. I'm on the SDR this morning. I got the boat anchor stuff fired up, but I'm over here fiddling around on the computer, so I might stay on this rig this morning. It's been a while since I've been on this for the net anyway, so maybe we'll stick with this. And I try to record the nets here every Saturday, and it's a little easier to record with the recording programs and stuff I have on the computer, as opposed to having to use my phone and all. But it's a lot easier over here. Let's just leave it at that. So anyway, coming up close here to net time, so I'll keep it moving along here. So Glenn, can get you in here for one more, and maybe back over to my pop for one there. But again, good morning to Gary. Still a big signal out here, Gary. You're rigged I think you said you're on the BC 610, or you're on the T3. I don't know. I'm sorry, but whatever you're on, it sounds fantastic. Good morning once again, Henry. Got your picture. I'm guessing you're still in the FT2000, and it sounds great. Really, I'm glad Gary was able to help you out this morning and get you sounding what they saying 11 meters, 10-8 and straight. And so keep it moving along. Up to you, Glenn. And it's a balmy 12.4 degrees. It keeps falling as we speak. N1 SNG in the old Milrad Prenet. This is W3MMR.
Here at W3MMR in the group N1 SNG. All right, very good, Barry. Yeah, I also have that effect here too. We're at the bottom of a hill. It's kind of a small valley, whatever, and usually before sunrise it starts to drop a bit there. So yeah, that's cold enough. And yeah, very good, Ted, on the Lionel. Yeah, I remember they did go into Emergency Facilities Act there, and they started making the keys. So if you have one of those, that's kind of a classic timepiece for sure. A little story behind that. And Perry, there was another store in New York City, and I think it was Madison Hardware. If you go online and you look up Madison Hardware, New York City, and I think it was right in the middle of New York City, and it was a hardware store, but I think the main feature there was all the trains. They had them in the windows, and storefront windows and all. And I think towards the end, I think Lionel purchased that whole store, and they moved it to say fixtures and hardware contents. I think they moved it up to Milwaukee. But again, the old pictures, the guys working in the back with all the clutter, trains piled up, and just another time capsule there. That's for sure. And Gary, on the R390A, getting the cabinet. I also have the cabinet for mine, and it's armor plating for sure. But I took all the covers off that were on the R390A, and once it went in the cabinet, I decided that they would come off. I was told, I believe, or read, for cooling purposes, ventilation, whatever, personal preference. So I took mine off. I hate to do that. Now you have got these covers laying around, like are they ever going to get lost? But in any case, we'll enjoy it now in its current position there. And Frank, you mentioned about the dentist. Yeah, I just returned from the dentist a few weeks back, and my plan covers 70%. So I had a cap put on one of my teeth because all the solder had fallen out, and I figured I'd get that done and over with. That was 2 hours in the morning, then come back 2 hours in the afternoon. They have a CNC machine that cuts the cap. Prior to that, he goes in with a laser and he scans the tooth. He puts some sort of a powder in there. So it is quite interesting how that whole process works. So I only ended up paying $300 of that. So that was a $1,000 adventure there. Luckily, I have the plan at work, which covers that, and I think that's $17 a month for myself and the spouse. So that works out pretty good right now. Try to get everything done before we cross over on the other side of the retirement fence there. That's for sure. So yeah, Barry, you may want to check that out. I think it's Madison Hardware, and neat stuff. I enjoy the old stuff, and figure if I can let the kids have a taste of it. They're probably going to end up with the whole shooting match anyway. So I'm going to send it over to Frank. I don't know what the time is here. I got some clocks that don't work. Some work fast, slow. So Frank, I'll just send it over to you, and you can redirect it. W2SDR N1SNG.
KD3H2.
Okay, I'll probably just make a short transmission here. I think Steve just broke in. KD3HT, good morning. Morning to you, Henry. Haven't heard you in a while, and you too, Gary. It's been a while, both to Henry and Gary. So great hearing you. Nice signals here from both of you fellows this morning, and it's great to hear you. Got everybody written down here. So let me get it to Steve, and then there'll be time for net time. I'm getting 2 minutes to 5 here, so we're getting close to it. And good morning to you, Ted. Beautiful signal in here this morning. So it sounds like we're going to have a good conditions for the net. KD3HT in a pre-net, W2SDR.
Good morning. Alpha Juliet 1 Golf.
Yeah, okay, good morning, Frank, Perry, Glenn, I guess also Gary and Henry, and hope everybody is fine this morning, as well as you too, Ted. Name here is Steve, located in northeast Pennsylvania, and can't tell you what the temperature is, but it starts around 6 degrees or so. A brutal, a fairly cold night, our coldest night, I think, this year. So, happens. But looking forward to it. Conditions sound good. And Ted, I'll turn it to you. I heard Chris in there, but I'll turn it to you. It's pretty much time to run this and leave it up to you. W3PWW in the old military radio net. Good morning, everybody. KD3HT.
Yeah, good morning, Steve. Nice signal here. Copying everybody good. Okay, calling the old military radio net, calling the old military radio net, calling the old military radio net. This net meets every Saturday morning at 0500 hours on or about 3885. It's 101 with a T368C and receiving on an RC90A. You don't have to have military equipment to check in, just an interest in that subject. Net control this morning, W3PWW, Whiskey Free, Papa Whiskey, located in Hanover, PA. Wow, looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 check-ins already. We have W3MMR, N1SNG, W2SDR, KD3HT, K0VUW, N4EDQ, and AJ1G. Anyone else for the net, please call now.
Whiskey Charlie 4 Delta.
Okay, I got WC4D. Anyone else? Okay, that looks like it. Nice start for the net this morning. W3MMR, N1SNG, W2SDR, KD3HT, K0VUW, N4EDQ, AJ1G, and WC4D, and back to net control. Perry, up to you. Beautiful signal down here in the southern PA this morning. W3MMR, W3PWW. Go ahead.
All right, W3PWW. In the old military radio net, this is W3MMR. Well, good morning to you, Ted. Great signal here as well. About 25 to 30 over. This morning, just on the Apache Labs and on 200 Delta SDR this morning. And really good signals out of everyone. I mean, every single station on here this morning is a Q5 copy at least, or way up there on the meter here this morning. Good morning once again to you, Glenn, and WNSNG. Good morning to you, Pop, W2SDR, with a really strong signal, about 35 over here to you, Pop. Good morning to you, Steve, KD3HT. Great to hear you locally this morning, Steve. A lot of times during the net, we don't get to hear each other. It's what it seems like it's been lately, so really good to hear you, Steve, and big signal down this way. Good morning once again to Gary, K0VUW. Real big signal coming out of Wildwood, Missouri this morning. Once again, good morning to Henry and 4EDQ. Once again, good morning to you, Chris, AJ1G. Great to hear you. And I can hear you locally this morning too, Chris. So 2 thumbs up to that. And good morning to Don, WC4D. Good morning to you, Don. Great to hear you. Glad you're joining us this morning for the net. Got a lot of the regular morning crew, the AM morning crew that we get in here every day is on the net this morning. So good to hear. With that being said, we'll keep it moving along. 12 degrees here, down to 12.2 in southeastern Pennsylvania here this morning. One of the coldest, like Steve said, one of the coldest mornings so far this winter. But we haven't had much of a winter here, that's for sure. It snowed twice for about 10 or 15 minutes and nothing stuck. And we've had a lot of rain, low 40s to mid 40s degree temperatures, and a ton of rain. That's been the story of this winter. So with that being said, up to you, Glenn. We'll keep it moving along. N1SNG in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR.
Here, W3MMR. In the old military radio net, N1SNG. Glenn in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. On the ART-13 this morning, listening to the Hamlin SP600. And just fine business on all the signals here. I'll tell you, it's so quiet. I have to back off some of the settings here on the SP600 to where things look more normal. Open it up to the 8 kilohertz position. That full signal there. So very good all the way around. Nice signals. And, very good morning to Don, WC4D. Very strong signal this morning. It's nice to hear you in here this early. Sometimes I feel like we're too close, and then others you come in here just full throttle there. And a very good morning to Steve in near full quieting here, and Gary on the BC610 sounding very, very nice this morning. Of course, Frank here just the usual spectacular signal audio combination there. And I think Perry parallels that also. And Ted, your T368's doing a fine job. You know, I was just thinking there for a bit. You know, when I first got on the military radio many years ago, you had the T368, and basically it's been unchanged. Your audio, everything. I mean, that is a real workhouse. Quite a nice piece of machinery there, and has probably gone past its life expectancy many times. But whatever you've done to that, it just, or if it's just stock, it just sounds fantastic during the nets here. And of course, you know, when things get a little rough on the ride, the transmitter really seems to get the signal out. So do appreciate you firing that up. Really sets the pace for the net, that's for sure. So over to you, Frank, and then I believe it goes over to K0VUW, W2STR, N1SNG.
N1SNG in the group. I thought, did it go to Perry? I don't know. Well, anyway, I know I'm supposed to turn it to Steve. So that's what Ted said. Good morning, everybody. W2SDR, Salem County, New Jersey. Beautiful signals from everyone here this morning. And everyone sounds great. I'm on my FT101E this morning as a transmitter. Receiver I'm using is a Hammerlin HQ160. Antenna is a half-wave dipoles, coax fed. And over the same feed point as my 160 antenna also, but I guess Mother Nature's only using my 80-meter antenna this morning, so there you have it. Hope everyone hears me okay. 18 degrees here this morning, gained 1 degree in the last 45 minutes. So we won't be out of the 30s this morning. I'll stick in here for one more round this morning, so let me get it to who I'm supposed to turn it to, Steve. And a nice signal this morning. K3HT in the group, W2STR, Southern New Jersey.
All right, Ted, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I got. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess Gary and the guys were in here earlier, so Gary or Henry yet. Don, good signal from the south. Nice strong signal. Chris, good signal from the northeast. Glenn booming in here, so everybody's doing good. Right around plus 40 here, so you can't complain about that. Those signal conditions. Running the ART13 and listening on a SDR receiver locally here, AirSpy HF Plus, and into a Delta Loop antenna. Yeah, conditions here are cold as well, 5.3 or 5 degrees here, and pretty accurate forecast. They said it was going to get down to 7, so they're pretty close. Was hoping to get up above freezing today, but it looks like it's going to hang right around the freezing mark. Maybe get up to 30 degrees here. Which, what are you going to do? It's the way it is. And, well, we haven't had, we've had rain, but not a significant amount, just enough to make everything really muddy. I'm hoping today to remove some of the ice in the backyard and move it off to a different area to get rid of some moisture. We'll see how that works. If it's stuff, usually this kind of temperature will freeze up pretty good. So if I can get my butt out there, perhaps I can move some ice. And too bad I don't have a barn and some hay. I could store it. Anyway, used to be one of the big industries in this area. Was harvesting ice. Anyway, not much else from me. Ted, I'm going to turn it to you. I'm not sure. I had a different order, so I just want to make sure it goes to the right person. So, good morning. You sound great here, as always, and good to hear you with good sounding, strong voice. W3PWW in the old military radio net, KD3HT.
Yeah, okay, Steve, very good. I think it goes to K0VUW, then N4EDQ, AJ1G, and WC4D, then back to net control. K0VUW, go ahead, Gary.
Okay, sir. Very good morning to everyone once again. This is Killer Rob Zulu, Victor United Whiskey, Gary in Wildwood. On the BC-610 Charles, R390A, and an SX-28. Hearing all you folks in mellow stereo with cycle fame. Everybody sounded great. And great to hear you, Frank and Glenn and everybody. And I should be more active here. I hope my health is finally somewhat under control. Quite a few rough years here, but trying to get more consistent. Like yesterday was probably one of the best days I felt in a long, long time. So look forward to getting back on here and playing radio a lot. Everybody's doing really well. And our temperature is warmer than I had thought. It is up to 21. And that's a whale of a difference. That's 7 times better than it was yesterday. And we're supposed to get a warming trend. That Arctic vortex on north of us, I guess, or somewhere. So we're going to get a nice warming trend and then back into the next week. So, Henry, down there to you. Again, everybody sounded really good. Thanks for doing the job you do there, Silver for Net. M482 K0, Victor Uncle Willie. Go ahead there, Mr. Henry.
Okay, K0VUW. This is N4EDQ. I'm the old little time off. One more time. Good morning, Steve, Gary, Chris, Don, Ed, and Elaine, and Terry. Thanks for doing your too. You guys all kind of up this morning. And brings the steak. Running a little ice box right now. About 150 watt barrier and a double bazooka. And let me see what else. Yep, Gary, thank you for saving me a bunch of dough. Jameson's on the way. I'll tell you this about Gary real short. Gary's struggling with this for 8 years. And I remember a time when he and I, he bought a new radio, and I bought a new radio back then, maybe 9 years ago, and now. And after that, he got his. So, Gary, you sound like you did 15 years ago. You have to answer me on the phone, but I'm really happy to take a break. You're so sweet. I'm going to swing this to Chris. We're sitting at 15 degrees, guys. Supposed to get some snow coming in. AJ1G, good morning, Chris. N4ED2.
Yeah, very good. Good morning, N4ED2 and the old military radio net. AJ1G, Chris in Stonington, Connecticut. And very good conditions this morning. The first voice I heard out of the radio this morning was, of all people, Glenn. And he was just zooming in on it and said, oh, it's going to be a good net. We're at 12 degrees at this point, predicted to go down to 9. We'll probably lose a couple more before the sun comes up. Nice and toasty here in the basement. I purged all my baseboard heating loops yesterday. Got a lot of air out of them. I don't know how it gets there, but a lot of sloshing going on recently, and so I did a very long purge on all the lines, probably more than I had to. I was purging into a bucket and, watching the bubbles come out, and I had two types of bubbles, big bubbles and little bubbles, and the big bubbles went away pretty quick, but the little bubbles, I realized those are probably just air coming out of solution as the water came up from the very, very deep well here. So I was basically, never going to get rid of them. So I finally said, okay, we're done. Got that all straightened out. Chris here in Stonington, Connecticut, southeastern Connecticut, on the Central Electronics 20A and 600L. About 100 watts this morning. Very, very good band conditions. Very little QRN. Very little lightning in this hemisphere, or the southern hemisphere in this part of the world. Can't believe clouds coming this morning here. On the converted G at this point, but I'm expanding my 7 megacycle 40 meter quarter wave vertical with 12 elevated volts. That's all pretty much set for that band, but I'm going to add a capability to run with an inverted L on this band. That might even happen today. It's going to be a sloping inverted L to start. It's going to be tough for me to get the L section horizontal without running afoul of a bunch of trees, but get some insight in how that goes as so far, and looks like it's worth trying anyhow. I only want to use that for DXing here down in the DX window. And although I am on the Central Electronics 28, the next time around I'm going to endeavor to have the BC-191 old Methuselah on here with the BD-77 dynamotor and churning and 211 turning. Had a lot of fun with that Ted on the CW net last Sunday night. That's only a little bit close. Someone says it didn't have a lot of chirp. I beg to differ. It does, but that's how they sound. So it goes down to Don, WC4D, and a fine old military radio net on a very cold February morning. Glenn and anyone else in New England don't really have anyone yet. I will not be going to Marlborough. Glenn, I wonder if you're going up there today, or maybe you're working. WC4D and the old military radio net, AJ1G.
Good morning, AJ1G, WC4D. Wow. It's good to have conditions like this in the mornings, especially on the East Coast. My name's Don. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. We're at 14 degrees this morning. The sun's not going to shine bright on my old Kentucky home, I'm thinking today. But it could happen. But I don't think we're going to have much of a warming today. It's supposed to be into the 30s. But I did look at the weather report for next week, and we're supposed to be in the 50s. So, strange as it is, today is supposed to be our coldest day. And let's go ahead and start warming up. Perry, good signal again this morning. And Ted and Henry and Frank and everybody. I mean, Gary, Steve. It's good for us to, over here to hear the East Coast, or especially early, because coming close around 6 o'clock, Chris and And Glenn and stuff, they'll start dropping out a little bit. We'll have a little more trouble picking them up. But everybody else, we'll start picking up West Coast or western part, like Gary and people from Texas and stuff like that. They'll start coming in, and Florida starts coming in pretty good, according to our morning group that we have every morning. And like Perry said, a good bunch of us are in here already this morning. So that's good to hear everybody again. I normally don't get in on Sunday, but I might do it this week. A project I've been working on around here is an R388, and Thursday we put the PTO in it, and somebody had taken it out, and everything was misaligned and everything else. And when I got this radio, it was a box of parts, and I had basically had to build a radio with just looking at pictures on YouTube and on the web and everything else, where the different dial strings and everything else. So I finally printed out a manual, but it didn't show me where all the basic parts went to still. I had to figure out where they all went. So I built a radio, and the chassis was all there. None of the tubes were there, and I had almost every one of the tubes that I needed. So we put it all together, and man, I turned it on, and lo and behold, we had noise. And I thought, wow, that's unusual, because I hardly ever get noise out of anything when I start off. And we tuned around and actually found a signal. So me and my buddy, he's got a lot of equipment over there, and we're going to work on aligning it up. I don't know how good of a radio it's going to be. It's going to need the AF gain pot and RF gain pots are going to need to be cleaned terrible, and they got them Allen Bradley pots in them. And I found some on QTH the other day, and I think I'm going to get brave and either try to take them apart and clean them, or drill a hole in them and deox them. I'm not really sure which way I want to go on that yet, but the ones I got are so scratchy, and you can't hardly move it. It's got dead spots all over, and I'm sure you all know how all that goes. No fun to mess with dirty pots. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Ted. Say good morning to everybody. I love listening to the ART-13s, and I am going to put mine on the air, and I am going to put my BC610 on the air, and I'm going to put my Globe King on the air. When this is going to happen, I don't know, but it's going to happen. So good morning to everybody, and I'll turn it back to Ted, W3PWW, WC4D.
Yeah, okay, Don, WC4D, W3PWW, and the old military radio, and that's very good all around. Copying everybody quite well. 17 degrees here this morning, so I'm a little bit warmer than what you guys are up north there. But been actually a little warmer down here for the last couple of weeks. At least a lot warmer than it usually is. Not by much, but a little bit. So I've been in the 40s and the some days the 50s. And lots of rain. Had about 4 days of rain down here every day, just about. Not heavy, but a little bit every day. And I guess it was Glenn talking about the T368. Yeah, I can't take credit for the audio. This was already done when I got it, and did have some problems, but got them all fixed up. I think the plate relay in this, the high voltage relay, is a little too light. I've heard that statement made by some other folks. I had trouble with it. Apparently, the thing heated up so bad it took the temper out of the arms on the relay, and only one side was closing. Of course, that caused problems also. So I put a contactor in there, and it's been that way for years now, with no problems at all. And the way I use it with a lot of on and offs on a high voltage, but a good investment putting the contactor in. Okay, Anyone else out there for the old military radio net, please call now.
W8KFM. Calling Whiskey 4, Hotel Whiskey Tango. Good morning, Ted.
WU2D.
Okay, John. W4HWT. And WU... give me that other call again, right after W4HWT. Come back with a call, please. Over.
WU2D. Good morning, Ted.
Yeah, okay. I think I keyed up a little too early on you. W2D also on. Anyone else? Over.
WA1JUJ.
WA1JUJ. Also on frequency. Anyone else? Over. Again, please.
November 9 kilowatt Wolf Radio.
Okay, N9KGR. Also, anyone else?
W8KFM.
W8JFM. Also on. Anyone else?
W1NZR. Good morning, Ted. And I'm pretty sure I heard Mike, WB3CTC.
Okay, W1NZR. Mike, you on frequency WB3CTC. Over. I'm not hearing him. Go ahead and give him a call, Brown, and see if that's him. I'm probably a little too close.
Yeah, okay. I may not have enough coffee and may be hallucinating still. Mike, are you there? WB3CTC. Go ahead. No, I guess I was dreaming. Sorry, Ted. He'll probably check in later. Thanks.
Yeah, he usually comes in a little later also. Okay, let me pick these stations up, and then we'll go back up to the top. So it'll be W4HWT, W2D, W1JUJ, N9KFR, W8JFM, W1NZR, then back to, we'll take a quick break there, and then we'll go back up to the top. John, down to you. W4HWT, W3PWW. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, Ted. W3PWW and the old military radio net. This is John, W4HWT at Snow Camp, North Carolina. Good morning all the way around. Seem to be copying everybody pretty good. Mike W2D was very weak. I heard him call, thought that was him. But everybody else is pretty well Q5, a subject that fading every now and then, of course. Running the BC 610 and 614 speech amp and 398 receiver here this morning, and copying and the temperature here about 27 degrees here. We're not quite as cold as you guys are, but it's kind of turned back up cold for, of course, it's about what it ought to be this time of the year down here, to tell you the truth, but we've had lots and lots of rain and very, very, very mild temperature. Ted, I might comment about the CW net last Sunday night when after he called it up and we started the rotation around, and Mike came on, up there, Tom, I mean, the ILA, man, ILA, he was clobbered by that digital signal, and of course I copied you through the 610. I take the antenna off the receiver, and I can copy you pretty good. So always run the 610, but it was awful. But toward the end, then it kind of went away. I don't know what happened. Well, anyway, I won't keep it. It's a big crowd here, but like I say, copying everybody really well. I'll tell you, Mike, if you're copying us there, WU2D, I think that's where it goes. WHWT and the old military radio net standing by for you. Over.
Okay, John, I can copy you. A little bit weak. John, you're a little bit weak up here, and I'm sure it's weak the other way, even worse. I'm running the ART-13 this morning, and I haven't had any coffee yet, so I can't even talk. But we've got a wireless set 19, a wireless set 19 Mark II on the bench this morning, and we're doing a final alignment after doing a little bit of repair on the radio. And also I picked up one of those UHF tubes for completeness in the super regenerative part of the transceiver, even though everybody claims it's a completely useless part of the radio. I wanted to have something in the tube socket to complete the radio. And when I picked this up originally, it was missing most of the tubes, and you know, it didn't have a case, and it was a case, that's true. But we're getting it back in the air, and hopefully we'll try to get into the net on Sunday night with the wireless set 19. We'll see how that goes. And I think it goes down to JUJ, but I might have missed it, Ted. This is WU2D in New Hampshire.
Okay, Mike, very good. Big, strong signal down here this morning. Goes up to WA1JUJ, then to N9KGR. WA1JUJ, go ahead.
WW from WA1JUJ. Okay, Mike, yeah, Mike had a good signal in here to Western Mass and then faded right out here. I got first to start listening this morning. All of the Wingwood stations are coming in well in here to Western Mass, and I was having trouble with the fours. Maybe that's going to change around, and that's what's happening. It's 2 degrees in Western Mass in the morning. Named Kevin, located in town of Granville in Western Mass, and I'm on the GRC-19 at about 115 watts this morning. Didn't get in last week, had a lot of other things going, but was able to get up pretty much on time this morning. Nothing on the bench right now, actually in the process of still clearing off the bench and finding all the tools that have gone missing over the past year or so. So I won't hold it. I'll be here for a little while as far as I know. And I think it goes down to N9KGR from WA1JUJ.
Very good, Kevin. W1JUJ, I believe, at 9KGR. Name is Bruce, and I'm located in Cleveland, Wisconsin. And copying everybody, Q5 were better this morning. And Ted, I'm going to make a one and done here, so you can probably scratch me off the list, but did want to check in again down about here this morning. And I'm running my BC610 this morning, but a WRL Gold Champ 300 and C300 into a gauge 9 hole. Got a busy morning, so like I say, this is going to be my one and done. We got 13 degrees going into 30 today, so we had 1 day of cold snap where we had negative temperature, and I'll take it. Pretty mild winter overall. So I didn't catch who I should turn it over to, so I'm going to shoot it back to you there, Ted. W3PWW, the old military radio at 9KGR.
Okay, Bruce, very good. Thanks for checking in. And nice signal into southern PA this morning. Goes to WAJFM, then W1NZR. Then back to net control. WAJFM, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the Coles Whiskey 8 Kilo Foxtrot Mike. Good morning, my name's Larry. I'm located near Dover, Ohio, in eastern Ohio, about 70 miles due west of Pittsburgh, to draw a line straight. I'm transmitting on a T3C model, listening on an HQ160, and have a makeshift dipole up about 40 feet probably. I just moved here, and I don't have a tower up yet, so we just kind of strung in between a couple trees, and there wasn't enough space, and so it's kind of a compromise antenna fed with ladder line. I'm using a Johnson Matchbox. And good morning to Don. Don, you're hearing your T3. This radio's been all over the place in the past 20 years. It started out up in Michigan, and a friend of mine up northern Ohio had it, and I don't know where all it's been. It's had many owners. So I'm hearing everyone pretty well here in eastern Ohio. So I think I didn't quite. You took a little fade, Ted. I think is that W1NZR, maybe something like that. W8KFM.
Okay, W8KFM, W3PWW. Yes, that's correct. W1NZR, and then back to net control. Go ahead, Brown.
KFM in Dover, Ohio. I know where Dover is. You roll not too far. Roll nearby where you are. On the way to Dayton and back every year. So always good to hear Ohio on T368. Sounds good. Yeah, conditions interesting. Mike, WUTV, he called in, and also when Kevin, W1JUJ, called in, they were both quite readable here. Not super strong, but then when their turn came up, they faded out. I barely copied Mike and didn't hear Kevin at all. And but I did hear N9KGR, and of course Larry and Ted, you're strong. So good morning to all. Glentron, good morning to you. I decided to just make it easy to get on the radio this morning, and I'm in a fairly comfortable Radio Central here at Fort Burnside on the TMC GTT 750, also known as URR 17. And listening on a Motorola R390A. And yeah, conditions are fairly quiet. There's 12 countable degrees here this morning, so it is rather an Arctic blast. But anyway, good to be on the radio. So I think I'd send it back to you, Ted. And I could have sworn I heard Mike in there. I'm only halfway through my first cup of coffee, so that's my excuse. W3PWW and the Milrad Net from W1NZR.
Okay, Brown, very good. Beautiful signal down here this morning. Okay, one more standby before we go back up to the top. Anyone else out there for the net, please call now. Okay, back up to W3MMR, N1SNG, W2SDR, and KD3HT. Perry, go ahead. W3MMR, W3PWW.
W3PWW, the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. Well, real good signals out of everyone here. Everyone was very copyable. Q5 or better here this morning. Some tuner-uppers, you know, up and down the passband here, but nevertheless, real good conditions this morning. For those who just broke in, the name here is Perry Papa Echo Romeo Yankee. The name is, the call is W3MMR Whiskey 3 Mike Romeo, and we are located in Chester, Pennsylvania, 7 miles southwest of the city of Philadelphia here, in Delaware County, southeast Pennsylvania. Running in Apache Labs Anon 200D software-defined radio this morning into an AL80B at about 150 watts of carrier. into a homebrew balanced L network tuner and using a 600 ohm ladder line fed 75 meter doublet up about 65 feet. So those are the operating conditions here this morning. So I'm going to say good morning to all the new the new check-ins here. John, W4HWT, WU2D, WA1JUJ, N9KGR, W8KFM. Larry, I have a question about your 160, the HQ160. And I don't know if my father's still in here, so I'll ask you, and I'm sure he would probably ask you the same thing if you were here. The sensitivity pot on that rig, when you go to turn the sensitivity down, do you only have a little bit before the signals drop all the way out? Like for instance, when you have it turned all the way up and you start turning it down a little bit, is it a real sharp drop off, or is it very linear across the whole pot? You can turn it down to 1 or 2 and the signals are really low, as opposed to getting down to 8.5 or 9 and the signals just completely drop. Because that's what's happening with his HQ160, and I haven't had the opportunity to hear a 160, anybody using an HQ160 else in a long time, to be able to ask that too. So maybe next time around you can speak on that. And good morning, Brown, W1NZR, good signal. Really good, like I said, real good signals out of everyone here this morning. So we'll keep it moving, big group. And I may stick in here for one more here this morning. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody yesterday. A manufactured holiday, but nonetheless, it's still a holiday, I guess. So hopefully everybody treated their XYLs to a nice dinner. You guys got to put the apron on. And I put the apron on for my dog. That's my Valentine. I made him a nice bowl of Alpo. So up to you, Glenn. N1SNG in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Great. Well, they are like people. I'm going to admit that. Some of the pets that I've had, they look you right in the eye when you talk to them, and they can go get things, particularly by name when you tell them to. So smarter than you think there. So got to treat them good. Give them the good food. Yep, that's for sure. And very good morning to Chris. Very nice signal over here. So what you have to do is don't touch anything. Okay? Just leave everything right where it is, unless there's some abnormalities there that you can hear without your headsets. Just sounding great, Chris. The Central Electronics 20A 600L, I think it's right where it's supposed to be. So don't touch it. Leave it where it is. Take down those settings. Yeah, drill them and wire them up. Very good morning to you, Chris. Again, a very nice signal here. Good morning to Brown on the big GVC 750. Nice to hear that on the air this morning, 390A. 12 degrees on the island. Wow, I think he got us beat. So we'll have to do some match up there. Gonna take a walk upstairs and check a few things there. Refill the cup, and check the weather also. And Larry out in Ohio there, T368, sounding great this morning. For those who do not know me, the name here is Glenn, Golf Lima Echo November. We're located in North Kingstown, Rhode Island, listening on the SP600 this morning, and transmitting on the ART13 full dynamo to power. That's for sure. Good morning to Mike, WU2D. Nice signals in Rhode Island this morning. Kevin was very, very light out of western Massachusetts. And Bruce K9KGR out in Cleveland, Wisconsin, on the Globe Champ, I think, a Globe King 300. Sounded very, very nice. And let me see, was it N4EDQ, Henry? Good morning to you again. And K0VUW, Gary, I'm glad to hear that everything's going well with you and your health, and good to hear you on here this morning. Probably have chatted at one time or another, but it's been quite some time, so nice to have you aboard. So with that, we'll keep it rolling along here. And yeah, the old 160 pot question there on the
Up there in the Poconos, KD3HT in the group, W2SDR 73.
Very fine, Frank. Very good. And I don't recall my HQ160 acting that way. Maybe if I get an antenna over to it, I can tell you. But I don't. I remember it having a very nice. At least my receiver, the AGC is one of those where it's just kind of perfectly set, where it's a very clean, quiet background, and the signals just pop right out of the noise. That's one attribute that I recall from that radio. I haven't used it in a couple of years. Good morning to all the new stations on the radio net here this morning. Everybody's running pretty good signal. Brown, you're 40 over. Larry's a little bit weaker there, the T3 plus 20. Bruce was down. Kevin's about plus 10. I can definitely tell the things changing a little bit in the northeast. Mike, we're about 10 over. John, good 30 over signal. Don in Lexington, good 30 over signal. Chris, 30 over. So Henry and Gary, good signals here as well. So all around, very nice. And let's see, other comments here. A lot of T368s and some 610s in the wings. So yeah, I have to get over to work on mine if I can. I keep trying, but things get in the way. So nonetheless, looking forward to we're supposed to get close to 30, as I said, so try to get outside and do something. Grandson's coming today for a week, so it'll be great seeing him. And radio-wise this week, haven't really done much, moved a few things around, and that's been about it. So much to talk about there. But John, good to hear you. Sounding real strong here, and sounds like you're rid of all that nonsense. that was bugging you, and that's good news. And Ted sounded real strong too. So, with that, not much said. I'll turn it down to you, Gary. Glad you're feeling better. You sound good as always from Wildwood, Missouri. K0VUW and the group KD3HT. Over.
Yeah, real good. KD3HT in the game. K0VUW. So everybody's 100% here, varying strengths from S9 to +++. But everybody's very Q5, so glad all is well here. Anyway, nothing new and exciting going on, really. But I'm having fun with, you have some of these pieces of equipment that I set aside for a while, and then when you pull them back out after a period of time, it's like a new toy. And I meant to comment on the train, and you're a good daddy coming by and having a candy bar on that flatbed as it comes around. Gee, I wanted to hop up, come up there and play trains with you and munch. Sounds good. I had, from when I was a kid, my American Flyer 027. I always liked that because I thought, Lionel had 3 tracks. Well, real trains don't have 3 tracks. What's that all about? Yeah, I like the 027. And I've got everything in the station that pulls up and it says all aboard and all that kind of stuff. My brother just recently passed away, my oldest brother, and I got him interested in trains, and he went nuts. He basically turned his whole basement into a scenic train, mountain, city, all kinds of stuff. He retired, and then after he retired, his wife passed away, and so that kept him out of trouble. And he devoted a lot of time in going up and did just a super job. If you took a picture of it from a distance, it looked like you were looking at a real village and a real train setup. Unbelievable. I know as a poor kid, I used to make my own grass. I'd take sawdust and take food coloring, green food coloring, and dye all the sawdust green, and put some clear varnish on the board, and then sprinkle that all around, and I had my grass. So we had a good time with all that stuff. Back some memories there. So, we'll hold it. A lot of guys in here, and everybody, like I said, is coming in super. Hope you're sounding okay here. So, Henry down in the room, and hope you're hanging in there, and copying okay here this morning. N4EDQ in the game, K0VUW, Gary, Wildwood, Missouri.
Okay, K0VUW, November 4 Echo Delta Queen, Wilbur. I'm going to say hello to all the new guys that joined us just a little while ago, rather than going by name, but most of them sounded really good. I'm going to say good morning to Don also. Don will see you at the handset next week. And let me see, I was going to make a comment to N1SNG. Yes, I have you in the log so many times, but we never swapped cards, so I got one coming your way. And Ted, it's always good to hear you. I haven't been on that much here because I've been working a lot, and anyway, so much for that. But I will be checking in here periodically a little bit more. And even I'll be on here during the week more often. So we'll do that. A lot of times I'm on early in the morning. I get on about 6 o'clock in the morning on 3885 with the local station, and sometimes stay a little bit longer. But Gary, you're sounding good. You're sounding like you're full of tea and vinegar, boy. I'm glad to hear your voice. Again, I want to thank you for your home. And with that, I'm going to make this my last one. And we'll say 73 to everybody on the old military net all the way around. We'll catch you fellas next week on the Saturday, most likely. Now, since I wrote it down, that it's 5 o'clock again. I totally forgot. So with that, I'm going to send it up there to Chris. Chris, we'll see you probably on Monday or so. Monday morning. And same with Gary and some of the other guys. So, again, Gary, say hi to Debbie for us. AJ1G to take it. Chris, take it away. N4EDQ, Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Okay, very good. N4EDQ, Blue Ridge, Georgia. AJ1G. I'm a little bit off frequency here on the BC191. Let me stand by and see if I can tweak it in here a little bit. Okay, that should have looked interesting to everybody looking on waterfall displays. Yeah, Chris here in Stonington, Connecticut, on the BC-191. Old Methuselah with the DD-77 dynamotor turning and 211s burning. And got this thing set up pretty good here as far as I can tell. Looking at my modulation on the K3FES Web SDR, it looks like I actually have 2 sidebands, not one. These things are very sensitive with being an MOPA. Apparently, there's all sorts of weird things going on with the AM and FM, and how you tune the final results in either balanced sidebands or either an upper sideband or a lower sideband, depending on how you tune it. And we're trying to tune it for out here, and it seems to do it well. Putting out about 80 watts or so. And more like 70 watts according to the watt meter. And I also got it while I was setting it up on the dummy load here before transmitting. I had noticed in the past that I was not getting very big positive peaks, but I was hitting negatives pretty good. And so I have a little phase flipping network in my audio change. I flipped the phasing around, and lo and behold, I'm getting much better positive peaks now. So hopefully everyone's hearing this thing okay. It doesn't sound half bad when you see it a good audio. I'm feeding it audio, line level audio from my condenser mic and the EQ and mixer into an RM12 remote control unit, which was used back with the BC-191s for ground use to allow remotely controlling and sending audio to a transmitter remote from the guy operating the push-to-pass switch. So when anytime I took out the radio, I didn't take out the operators. It's basically a system that can patch four telephone audio and control signals into the transmitter from up to a couple of miles away. And I was fortunate enough to come across that probably a year plus years ago. It's a very handy unit for sending video. It can sound pretty decent. It doesn't sound, crazy bad with a carbon mic, but that's usually more because of the state of the carbon mic than anything else. And having lots of fun with it. Had a lot of fun with it on the CWNet last Sunday night. Big group in here. I think I heard Mike W2B say he was running his wireless set 19. Mike, are you crazy enough to run that force, or are you pushing that through an amplifier? And we'll hear later on down the line. So it goes down to Don. Whiskey Charlie Ford Delta and Road Metaphor Romeo, that AJ1G with
BB-77 Sherman and 4-4 McBurn. AJ1G, WC4D. Very good, Chris. Well, I'll tell you what a difference. And boy, to hear the hum of the dyno motor in the background is music to my ears there. Love it. Sounded great. And really good signal there. You don't always come into Lexington this time of day. You do really good around 5 o'clock or about 5:30, but coming into Kentucky it gets a little bit lighter down here. So I switched up to the WebF SCR, and I was listening to you on S3AF also, and it sounded really good up there. Good to hear my buddy Larry in there. W8KFM, talking on T3. That used to be my T3 that belonged to another guy in Kentucky, that belonged to another guy in Ohio, that belonged to K8TV. So it's got a track history. I tell you what, that radio has been around quite a bit. The first time I've ever actually got to hear the radio itself. So quite really pleased to hear that. I really didn't want to keep it, but I wasn't smart enough to keep all the evil out of it. Ted is fortunate that he can run his for years and years and never have a problem. Mine, he used to have the relay problem. Every time I talked for a little bit, I guess it lost the temper in the relay or something, and it would just lose all the high voltage out of it. So I'd be talking away into the military net, and all of a sudden I'd be gone, have to turn it off, turn it back on again, wait a little bit, then I could transmit again for just a short period. And it did that several times. Well, I replaced the relay, but then it had other gremlins start to happen with it. And when Larry bought it, he had to do quite a bit of extensive work on it to hunt down all the little gremlins in it. And he's done a great job getting it on the air. So it was good to hear it, and glad to hear you on there, Larry. Done good. Now you need to get the 70-foot tower up and get all that stuff going with you. Don't have much more to add, so I'm going to get out and check out and say 73s everybody this morning. I'll catch everybody else, the morning group on Monday, and hope you all have a great weekend. And like Frank said, everybody try to keep warm. It's down to 13 degrees here now. And so over with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I turned it to Ted last time, so I'm going to turn it back to you, Ted. That was the rotation. So the 73s, everybody, you have a great weekend. W3 PWW, WC4D.
Yeah, okay, Don.
NAULN.
Again this morning. Yeah, the relay problem, the high voltage relay problem. When I finally took the covers on everything off of it, it was only keying on one side. The other side was like, I guess the temper came out due to the heat, and I only had one contact closing. So that's when I pulled it out and put a contactor in, and that's been going pretty good ever since. But yeah, I had a few gremlins in this one also. Okay, continuing on, we had W4HWT, W2D, WA1JUJ, and N9KGR. John, down to you. W4HWT, W3PWW, and the old military radio net. Go ahead.
CW1I. And the old military radio net. This is John, W4H. WT in North Carolina returning. Yeah, I wanted to comment on Chris's BC191. Copied you pretty good there on AM. Toward the end, seemed like it was getting a little bit more fuzzy, but maybe just me trying to keep up with you, tuning around a little bit. But you sounded really good on the CW net the other night. I was really kind of shocked. I figured the CW would be a good bit more chirpy than it was. Actually, I didn't think it was too bad. If I'd have been on with that, I'm sure I'd have got an OO. Seemed like I'm closer to Florida. I get a lot of OOs out of Florida, on my TBW and things like that, and I don't understand why. I can't even tell anything. I've heard other people look at it and listen to it, I should say, and record it and send it back to me on the internet. But, Mike, your wireless set 19 sounded good on Sunday night also. And luckily, when you were transmitting, the digital QRM was was gone, and I could copy you very well. With no bull power you got, made me want to get my BC 654 up and running again and get it on the air, and it's got a relay in it that keys and changing the filament voltages a little bit with this power supply I have for it, and it turns around and makes it chirp a little bit. And I don't think if I chirped, my 654 probably chirps a little bit as much, maybe more than Chris's 191. But the wireless set sounded really good and quite strong for no more power than it really puts out, I reckon. But keep up the good work there. And we won't hold it any longer. Just pass it on up there to you, Mike. And okay on being on a ART 13 this morning. WU2D, W4HWT, and Old Military Radio Net standing by. Over.
Okay, John. Yeah, you're coming in a little bit better now up here in New Hampshire, where we have a very chilly morning. This is chilly even by New Hampshire standards. This has probably been the coldest night we've had this year. So it's been quite a surprise to get a little taste of winter. Overall, this has been a very mild winter for us up here, and not much of a winter at all. Yeah, the story on the wireless set 19, I've been off the air with it for about 3 years because I thought I'd lost the drive, and it turns out, this is pretty embarrassing, I had rewired the key for the TCS, and the TCS uses sleeve and tip for keying in the mic jack. The wireless set 19 uses tip and ring to key the radio. So I simply didn't have the key wired properly. Yeah, those are the things that happen when you're moving around the shack and have too many radios. You forget what you're doing. So now I have one cord wired one way and one cord wired the other with two different keys, so we won't mess that up again. But I thought while I had it apart, I would give it a full alignment and give it an inspection, and add that final tube that I had not put in, which is that funny-looking tile with the two caps on top. One is the grid, one is the plate. It's not much different than a miniature version of a 6C4 kind of a thing, but they put it in that funny package, and that's what the super regenerative 330 megahertz transceiver is based on, which is a ridiculous. The big super regen is a bunch of tanks in World War II, and you probably be interfering with each other. And this is one of those modulated oscillator / super regen receivers in one, so they couldn't really put a RF amplifier stage to isolate the receivers, which would have made it a usable rig, but as it is now, most people discarded the super regen part of the wireless set 19. Not many hams tried to convert them to 220s back in the day either. So that's what's going on up here in the WU2D shack this morning. So I don't know if anyone in JUJ can hear me, but this is WU2D.
WA1JUJ. Okay, fine, Mike. Kind of lost the New England station, so I had to go to a web SDR here. Fine on the wireless set number 19. Sounds like an interesting project there. The only thing I am working on here this week is I purchased one of those rolling cabinets that I can use to work on the rig to get around the back easily and move stuff from the shack to the workbench, which is quite a ways away. And it comes all knocked down from Amazon. So I've got to put that together. Don't like the idea of how they pack these things. I know it helps, but I actually fill 3 30-gallon plastic garbage bags with all of the styrofoam packing material that came out of the boxes that the cabinet was in. So I've got to work on that. probably a plus because then I can just have an easy place to work on things right here in the shack if these heavier radios around back and forth in the main. Looks like the temperature's not going to get out of the 20s here today, so it's going to be a little bit cold along warm outside. Supposed to be sunny today, tomorrow, but it's supposed to be cold, so I guess that's okay. We don't have any weather coming into the Wiggler until I think Tuesday or Wednesday next week or something like that. So I won't hold it here and I'll pass it down over to you, Bruce. N9KGR from WA1JUJ.
N9KGR, go ahead. N9KGR, go ahead.
One and done.
Okay, I guess I missed that one. Looks like now it goes down to W1NZR. And you're down at the end of the list there, Brown, so go ahead.
Okay, Ted, thank you. Yeah, propagation shifting around as the gray line approaches. A nice red dawn out there at the moment. And temperature dropped down just below 12 degrees here. So weather conditions, propagation conditions changing. I didn't hear N9KGR that time. John HWT was stable that time. Chris was a little weaker, and yeah, I didn't hear Mike or Kevin. So kind of interesting. Hopefully it'll change here in a little bit. So I'll hand it back up to you, Ted. W3TWW and the NORAD net from W1NZR.
K3HVG.
Okay, Jeep, I heard. Okay, Brown, W1NZR, W3PWW. Okay, I heard Jeep in there. Stand by a minute, Jeep.
Victor Yankee 2, Whiskey West.
Okay, I got the K3HVG. Anyone else for the net? Please call now, over.
Victor Yankee 2, Whiskey.
This is KW1I.
W2, WV1, 2W.
Charlie. November 1. Golf. India Charlie.
Okay, I have KW1I, and I got a bunch of doubles there, so spread them out a little bit, guys. I'll stand by for you. Go ahead.
November 1. Golf. India Charlie.
KK4RF. Kilo 4, Golf Zulu, Quebec.
VY2W then.
November 1, Golf India Charlie.
Okay, I have K3HBG, KW1I, N1J2Y, KK4RF, and more stations in there, so I'll stand by for you. Go ahead, guys.
November 1, Golf.
November 8, Uniform, Lima, November, NAULN.
8ULN. N8ULN, KK4GZ2, N1GTY, and another station there. So, put them out with the guys and continue on, please.
See, they don't do it. N1GIC. This is the third time I've tried to check in. November 1 Golf. India Charlie.
W1GTX.
GTY. Anyone else, over? Okay, VY2WW. Alright, anyone else?
WB3CTC.
Okay, got CTC.
W4WCJ.
Got W4WCJ.
Yeah, he's checking in. WB4WCJ, Ted.
Okay, got that. Anyone else? Okay, K9 EYE. Anyone else, please, over?
1 GTX.
1 GTX. Okay. I got stations here. I have N1GTY or KW1I. Oh, let me back up one more. We have K3HVG, KW1I, N1GTY, KK4RF, N8ULN, KK4GZQ, N1GT. Oh, gosh, I messed it up. Sorry, let me continue on. N1GTY, VY2WW, WB3CTC, K9EYA, and W1GTX. If I missed somebody, I'll pick them up at the end of that list. Jeep, down to you. K3HVG, W3PWW in the net. Go ahead.
For the fourth time, N1GIC.
Oh, okay, N1GIC. Let me put you up right now, and then pass it to K3HVG. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, good morning to all the netters. The antique military radio net, that's what it is. I just wanted to check in and say hi. I do have some gear here. I have the Aldeco's R102 and T102 and R104, something like that. And they're a pair of twins designed to work together. Gentlemen, you're all coming in fine here and probably overriding me easily. In any case, I'm going to pass it back to the net. There's a lot of people that want to get in. November 1 Golf India Charlie, back to net.
Okay, N1GIC, W3PWW. Very good, thank you. Jeep down to you, KKHVG, then you give it to KW1I.
Okay, Ted, very good. W3PWW and the old military radio net, K3HVG, Jeep in Frederick, Maryland. Copying everyone virtually, some better than others. Ted, you dropped Paul, WCJ. During that last listing. He came after Mike. But anyway, I'm sure it'll all be worked out. Nothing new here, just getting all that new equipment piled up, getting ready for the Hamfest season. It's, 20 pounds of stuff in a 10-pound bag. It's getting overwhelming, so all the ICO modulators and transmitters, they're going to go out the door, and a myriad of other stuff. But I had a comment for Steve there. Yeah, HK160, I sure heck like mine. I've got it paired up with an HC10, and it makes a nice combination with the big 200 speaker. It's just a beautiful radio. It does everything one might need. And then the other comment was for Chris. Yeah, you got about 300 hertz worth of FMing, but the radio sounds good. Tell you what, if you're getting 80 watts out with that little FMing, that's very, very good. And I know when Ted and I were exploring the San Luis Obispo tweak-up for minimum FM using a 455 kilohertz test instrument for deviation. It can be tuned out, but it's very frequency sensitive. you tune the VFO a little bit and all your adjustments kind of go awry. So that's the deal on that. I'm on commercial gear this morning. I apologize. It's currently 20 degrees outside. Just went down a degree. I guess that's the pre-dawn dip in temperature. So we'll turn it to KW1I and the old military radio net, K3HVG. Go ahead.
The K3HVG and the net, this is KW1I. Good morning. Good morning, Ted. You're rolling in. Jeep is rolling in. And many stations we haven't heard because of propagation. The only New England station I've heard is W2D, and he is not that far away from me. I didn't hear a peep out of Brown or Chris or Glenn if he's in there. So we're on the GPT 750 this morning, and we have 3 degrees below zero, which is the coldest it's been, I guess, here in Bow, New Hampshire. Big list, Ted, so I'll be short. Hopefully we'll get in again to just before 7 o'clock probably. So, and in all the heterodynes and everything else, I didn't get who I was supposed to send it to. So right back to you, Ted, W3PWW. This is KW1I in Bow, New Hampshire.
Yeah, okay, Dale, very good. It goes to N1GTY, and then to KK4RF and N8ULN. N1GTY, go ahead. Okay, no copy. N1 KK4RF, go ahead, Marty, and give it to N8ULN.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. W3PWW in the old military radio net. This is KK4RF. Good morning, Ted. You got a multitude of stations here now, so I'll try to keep it brief. The name here is Marty. Marty, short for Martian, for those who don't know me, and I'm located in Suffolk, Virginia, in the southeastern part of the state. And we're running an old multi-LMAX A54H through a Heathkit SB200 linear and receiving with an old Heathkit SB300. So that's the rundown here. I belong to the USS Wisconsin Battleship Radio Club, stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and we were down on the ship this week working on antennas, and I'm also working on the ship's TCS number 5 receiver, trying to get better selectivity for it, and I'm trying to interface an old Heathkit QF1 Q multiplier to it, and trying to sharpen up the IF selectivity a bit. So having a lot of fun with that, and I know Mike WU2D is on, and he's the king of the Q multiplier, and so I was just curious whether Mike had ever tried hooking up a Q multiplier to a TCS receiver. So anyway, I'll send it over to Jim, N8ULN, up in Ohio. This is KK4RF in the old military radio net.
Yeah, okay. KK4RF in the old military radio net. This is N8ULN, Jim in Worcester, Ohio. Say good morning to everyone. I heard Larry, W8KFM's call mentioned a while back, so Larry, if you're listening, good morning to you. And we're running part homemade and part military gear here. The transmitter is a single 304TL modulated by a pair of 811As, and the receiver is an R390A. Antenna is a inverted V at about 40 feet, something like that. We've got a pretty cold day here, not as cold as Bow, New Hampshire. We were about 11 degrees when I got up this morning. Not really a whole lot new. I've been working on a BC639 receiver, trying to make it work better, and I'm not sure if I'm beating a dead horse or not, but it does work anyway. It's kind of a VHF receiver. And so I've got a ham fest to go to tomorrow. I'm going to hold it here, make this my one and only, and see, I turn it to KK4GZQ. Go ahead. This is N8ULN.
N8ULN, with the old military radio net from KK4GZQ. I've been listening here since about 5:30, and good morning all the way around. I've heard everybody from Frank signing out, W2SDR, Perry was in there, Brown, Steve, Gary out in Wildwood, Henry down in Georgia, Chris up in Connecticut. I'll just say Connecticut, Stonington, Connecticut. That's it. And I heard my neighbor Don, Whiskey Charlie 4 Delta, sign out as well. Also want to say good morning to Brown, W1NZR. Did hear Brown in there, and John down in North Carolina. Ted, it seems like the net's in pretty good shape with not a whole lot of noise this morning, but nonetheless, a lot of check-ins. I won't keep it long here, and running the Ranger here with the VTI amplifier, single 31000Z in the final here that I'm running about 300 watts carrier. Listening to everybody on an HP 129 X-ray here. So anyway, a good net this morning. Ted, just check me in and check me out. I probably will not be around if y'all send it back to me. I'll have it on, but probably nowhere near the microphone. Marty, good morning to you over in Virginia. I almost forgot to say good morning to you, and great to hear you on as always. So with that, I think, Ted, you told me to send it to November 1 Golf Tango Yankee N1GTY. So 73, and good morning all. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day. N1GTY with the old military radio net from KK4GZQ. Kevin near Lexington, Kentucky. Over.
N1GTY, go ahead.
No joy.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. I think it goes to VY2WW. If I miss somebody, I'll have to pick them up later. VY2WW, go ahead. Well, okay, that must be wrong. Let's try WB3CTC. Mike, go ahead.
Okay, Ted, and then I got here that I sent it to K1GRE, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess so. I got things kind of mixed up there down at the end. But yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay, that's a run. Yeah, the propagation's pretty good today. A lot better than last week, that's for sure. And when I first tuned in, we were talking about model railroading, and I just like to tell everybody I spent 38 years working on the 4-foot 8.5 gauge. So there you go. Well, like I said, the propagation's pretty good. It's chilly out there, but sure not as bad as up in New England. Dale said it was below zero up there. I think he said it's not that cold here. At least the wind's not blowing. Boy, if the wind was blowing, it'd really be something. So over to K1GRE and the old military radio net, WB3CTC. This is Mike in Lancaster, PA.
Next station up, go ahead. Okay, I thought it was a W4, but can't read my own writing anyway. Let me give it to K9EYE. I did get him good, and then it goes to W1GTX. K9EYE, go ahead, sir.
Roger that. This is K9EYE, and this is Pierre, Crystal Lake, Illinois, near Chicago. And I'm a blind ham. I haven't been on here for a long, long time, guys. I started off using my old nice T60, and that's on the... I enjoy listening to Walt Steve. my carport. This is my carport. It's 12 feet wide by 70 feet long, and I live in a mobile home park. So that's what I'm doing there. My carrier is about 120 watts. I'm using modern gear, so it's a CS590SG or the Ameritron ALS 600. So that's what I'm operating here. Thank you guys for allowing me to come in, and I always enjoy listening to the good AM audio. So GTX to take it. This is K9EYE Pierre, near Chicago.
W1 GTX, go ahead.
This is W1 GTX. Thanks, Ted, for running the net. Yeah, not too much here. I think last weekend I couldn't jump in. I ended up losing power all Friday night, so it was a hectic evening. Yeah, no, running the T13 here with the dynamo motor whining away. I figured I'd jump in and check in today. I'm still going to fix the corner of my loop antenna, so receiving end's a little bit down. So I'm picking up mostly everybody. So that's it for right now. I'll send it back to you, Ted. W3PWW in the old military radio net. It's W1 GTX.
Paul was still in there.
Say again?
Yeah, Paul WCJ was on.
KB3RHR.
Okay, got KD3RHR. Okay, WB4WCJ, WB4WCJ, go ahead, Paul.
Okay, real fine, W3PWWWB4WCJ. Copied most everyone here, so copied real good. I really hope someone copies me a little bit. Anyway, operating much less than ideal here, again with the ICOM C765. And the modified Dentron amplifier, So, thanks for giving me a call there, Ted. And so that's the story. W3PWWWB4WCJ, Paul Hardyville, just north of Savannah, over.
Okay, Paul, very good. Thanks for checking in this morning. Haven't heard you on for a while. Okay, I have KB3RHR. Go ahead.
Okay, Ted. Good morning, everybody. W3PWW, the old military radio net, KB3RHR. Craig over here in Pittsburgh. Running the T368E model. Serial number 242. Listening to you on another stacked R390A, so it's doing good this morning. Good morning, everybody. I did finally wake up this morning. Slept in a little bit, so well-deserved, I think. But anyways, everybody sounded good so far that I've heard, and glad to be part of the numbers, Ted. So back to you, sir. W3PWW, KB3RHR.
Okay, KB3RHR, W3PWW. Only a T368C model here, along with an R390A also. Okay. Anyone else for the net, please call now. I called VY2WW, it didn't come back. Okay. Let's see. Well, okay, let's go back up to the top and see how far we get, because a lot of folks have checked out, so we might be able to get through. Let's try it. The W3NMR, N1SNG, KD3HT, and K0VUW if he's still in here. So let's try that.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning.
W9KWW. Why don't you go ahead and make a transmission, then give it to W3MMR. W9KWW, go ahead.
Got up in the
No joy.
I think it was a different call.
N9KWW, go ahead.
The call was Whiskey 9, Charlie Bravo, November 9, CBN.
All right, go ahead and make a transmission.
Go ahead.
The braking station that just broke in, KBN, make a transmission, please.
All right, appreciate that. The call was Whiskey 9, Charlie Bravo, November W9, CBN, located in Milwaukee. Want to say good morning to the old Milrad.net and W3P. If you copy us, Ted, we've been checking in from time to time. Just got a little bit late check-in, but glad one station heard me at least. The rig here, the transmitter is a WRO Globe Champion Model 300 transmitter. R274 receiver, issued by the Helicopters Company of Chicago. And the microphone's a D104. About 15 degrees. We had a real cold spell for about 48 hours or so, but things are warming up here, and things are warming up on the band. Appreciate you checking me in. Appreciate the station with the relay. Back to net. This is Whiskey 9, Charlie Brown, November.
Sorry, I didn't get much of that. Really went down into the noise here. This QTH. All right, Trey, why don't you go ahead and pick it up? W3MMR, W3PWW, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. W3PWW on the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. Whiskey 9, Charlie Bravo, November, CBN, Milwaukee. I believe that was the call. I know he was in Milwaukee on a Globe King or something. I think he said he was kind of up and down here in the noise. But nevertheless, really big group. So I'm going to make this my last one. But I just want to say good morning to everyone. The name here is Perry, Papa Echo Romeo, Romeo Yankee. For those who don't know, the call is Whiskey 3 Mike Romeo. We're located in Chester, Pennsylvania, 7 miles southwest of Philadelphia in Delaware County, here in southeastern Pennsylvania. On an Apache Labs and SDR 200D software-defined radio, into an AL80B, about 175 watts of carrier or so, into a homebrew balanced L network tuner feeding a 600 ohm ladder line fed doublet up about 65 feet. Figured I'd use the solid state gear this morning, and because I had to do some stuff here on the computer, so but the boat anchor stuff has been on keeping the room warm, keeping the shack warm here, because it is 11 degrees here in southeastern Pennsylvania. It was, when I got up at 3:30, it was 14 degrees, so it's still falling 3 degrees, but the sun should start to peak up here soon. It's a little light, getting a little light out here, so I don't think it's going to get much colder, but it's still going to be a cold day. I don't think it's going to get above freezing. And good morning to, wow, there's so many people in here. I just stopped writing down, and I started to doze off. So, anyway, I'm gonna say 7-3, guys. It's been real fun here this morning. And Ted, I believe I heard a WD4NKA trying to break in. He's down there in Florida. I don't know how good. I don't know if you have a copy on him. But he did try to break in, so I just wanted to acknowledge Gary down there in Deltona, Florida. And anyway, we'll say 7-3. Glenn Larry, thank you for the text message. WAKFM on the information on the HQ 160.
To love your enemies.
Appreciate that.
Ask God to.
And 7-3, everyone. And if everybody wants to check out, I've been recording the net here. I always record the net here on Saturday mornings and put them up on my YouTube channel, the AM window. So the net recording of the net will be on my YouTube channel here in about probably a couple hours. I'll take the upload there. So just search the Old Military Radio Net with the YouTube channel name on YouTube there, and you should be able to find it. 7-3, guys. We'll keep it moving. Over to you, Glenn. Sorry for the buzzard. N1SNG in the Old Military Radio Net. 7-3 from W3MMR.
Yeah, W3MMR, N1SNG. And thanks, Perry, for all your help there and the relays. And I'll have to check that YouTube window for the net. Good way to check your audio, I guess. But anyway, have a great day, Perry. And a very good morning to Dale, KW1I. Hopefully you can copy me now. Band seems to be focusing in quite well now in the Northeast here. And Marty, KK4RF, and a ULN, and gee, there's quite a list here that really came in quick there towards the end. And I think it was W9CBN out in Milwaukee. Good morning to you, sir. And we're out on the East Coast here in Rhode Island. Here's Glenn, Golf Lima Echo, November, running an ERT-13, listening on the SB600. You're really enjoying the net today. And Ted, thanks for all your efforts here and keeping the corral full. Yeah, kind of like a switchboard operator, but thank you for your duties this morning. And I guess that's about it here, and we'll start the day in a little bit here, just going through some of the file cabinets and weeding out some of the scratch notes and the papers that I don't understand how even ended up in there. So anyway, we'll get it right over to Steve. Your ART-13 sounding fabulous this morning. Even though it's 5 degrees, it seems to be working quite well. KD3HT, N1SNG, 7-3s. We're going to listen out.
Yeah, very good, Glenn. N1SNG and the Old Military Radio Net, KD3HT. Yes, a large group here, and hearing most stations. Some are weaker than others. It does sound like the Northeast signal conditions have improved. We have daylight in the sky, but still 5 degrees here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Glenn said my name is Steve, for anybody that doesn't know, running an ART-13. And Ted, been a good job, and yeah, a little bit of a pile up there, but heard EYE, GTX, Paul, Craig, and CBN. I know your call wasn't a real good signal here. Dale sounded good, Marty. Jim always sounded good on the 304 TL. Kevin always good on the Ranger. Mike CPC, he's got a great signal here. Jeep. Yeah, Jeep. I haven't had that receiver on in a while, but I remember specifically that it was had a very gentle or just a perfect ALC, AGC, and it was very quiet. You almost felt like it wasn't working, but when you tuned into a signal, that's what you heard without much noise on it. And just must be the characteristic of the dropping resistors in the AGC to the gain. Just perfect. So anyway, let's see. Gary may still be in there. So Ted, I'm not sure if it just goes to Chris. I know Gary and Henry were in there before that. So I'll let you decide where it goes here. And say good morning to everybody. It's been very interesting. Chris, the 191, I think if you have a ME165, I would suggest tuning that into the ME165, because as a comparison to Pete, Dale, and the other gentleman up in Maine, his name slips my mind. Your 191, it it's just the audio is just terrible compared to the others. You may be modulating it well, but it's just the clarity and stuff's just not there. So, sorry, but that's what it sounds like. And I know hearing from Pete in the past that he takes a lot of time. He's tweaking that into a load like the antenna, so that when it hits the antenna, that it's not changing the MOPA characteristics. Okay, back to you, Ted. W3PWW in the old military radio net, KD3HT.
Okay, Steve, very good. Let's see. Next it goes to K0VUW, AJ1G, W4HWT, W2D. I'll stop there. Take another little pause, then we'll keep going. Carry down to you. K0VUW, W3PWW. Go ahead.
Yeah, real good. W3PWW. Here is Kilowatt Zero, Victor United Whiskey, Gary in Wildwood, Missouri. Everybody's coming in still Q5. Some signals have fallen off some have picked up, which you would expect this time of morning. Ted, we're still holding in great. Running a BC610C is in Charles. R390A, SX28, BC614E, and the antenna is a 3/4 wave per leg D-beam. Apex was at about 205 foot at the center. And there you got it. Well, it's been a long morning for me. I got on here about 1:45 Central Time. It's 1:06. So I didn't get much sleep last night. My doggies are all, and two cats are looking at me like, I believe it's time for us to go out because we eat at 6 a.m. So let me say good morning, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks again for everybody's hospitality, and it's great to hear the fraternity rolling again. Reminds me of the old days. I've been around a little while, and a lot of AM stuff, and it seems like we got it going again. A lot of good gentlemen on the frequency. So, AJ1G, KSOW, you copy okay? Good morning. Okay, K0VUW. And the old military radio net, AJ1G, Chris in Stonington, Connecticut. Yeah, stand by a second here. I gotta drop my my O-scope gain down a second. Okay, everybody. Chris, AJ1G, back again on the BC191, and I dropped some of the low end out, Steve. Also, I think I might have been hitting it just a little bit too hard and getting some tearing on the audio. When it gets to 100%, sometimes it tears up. Yeah, about 75 watts indicated on the watt meter here. Yeah, I'm listening here on the in the background. I've got my off-air audio going. I think it sounded okay. It definitely sounds different. It's probably because of the audio I'm sending into it here. So, and it looks like I got both sidebands here right now too. I'm looking at the K3FEF Love SDR waterfall display. Yes, a lot of fun having this on. John, thanks for the kind remarks on the CW signal. Yeah, it does chirp, but boy, you know what I noticed? We had a lot of interference from the the digi guys who, you know, I don't even think they listen. They just fire away. They don't see what's on frequency, and they pay no attention to the fact that that's a net frequency 3570. We're not the only net on that frequency. There's actually some guys that are closer to them on like 3571. I don't know how they operate. I can hear them struggling away in there. We have our net sometimes. But I noticed after I started sending a couple of minutes on the 191, those guys kind of went away. So maybe we had a good effect on chasing away from the frequency. Yeah, we're down to 10 degrees. I wonder if we're going to make it into single digits before sunrise here and turns it around. One of the coldest days we've had. We've had some signs of spring here. We have the Stonington Point, or the Stonington Village Forsythia. It's our version of the first sign of spring here is blooming down in Stonington Borough. We don't have the Lenten Rose going here yet in the yard, but we do have some other similar hellebore type plants that are getting ready to pop. A lot of new growth and some buds are ready to pop. But I don't know how they're going to like the 9 degrees. It's very early here in the season. Go up to the lonely guys. That's going to probably be pretty sparsely populated. A lot of guys are probably headed to Marlboro, or may in fact already be at the Marlboro Handfest. We're not going to be able to make that one. And we've been way behind on some projects requiring being outdoors, and I want to take advantage of every sunny day we get. Even though it's cold, I'll be able to work, and also want to see if I can get the inverted L playing here on 75. As a quarter wave vertical on 40, the antenna is just stupendous. It's doing a great job every morning into Australia, 5-9 plus 10 with Victor Kilo 3 Mike Oscar up on 7174 with John BY2WW. And Ted, I think this BD77, you may have sent this to me if you recall, and it's still churning away. I think I lived it when I first got it, and that's it. It just runs and runs and runs. One of the nicest sounding dynamotors I've got in the stable here. So we hold it big enough, turn it down to, let's see, I think that I'll turn it back to you, but I think it goes to John, W4HWT. Thanks for running that as always. W3PWW, AJ1G.
Okay, Chris, AJ1G, W3PWW, and your military radio net. Yeah, I'm starting to lose you there, but whatever you did made it a little bit better. So let's see. The next station up is John, W4HWT. And then W2D and W1JUD, and I've heard some more stations checking in, so stand by a minute. We'll get to you in a minute. John, down to you. W4HWT, go ahead.
Okay, Ted. W3PWW, no military radio net. This is John, W4HWT, returning. Well, I'll finish on my 73s and keep it short here, and hope to catch you tomorrow night on the CW net. Digital signals, it's getting just about where it's not very enjoyable down here, really. So I can't copy anybody much. There's somebody on that digital mode that's running way more power than they typically do, and when they come on, they just wipe out everybody except you, Ted. But it's really getting bad. I don't know what we're going to do or whatever, but maybe you guys maybe don't notice it. Maybe this digital strong signal is here in the south somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, 73s, and hope to catch you tomorrow night. And Ted, I'll turn it back to you and let you park the mic there. And have a great day, and hope you're doing okay. W3PWW, and Ted, thanks for running the net. You had a lot of people trying to check in a while ago, and kind of made it rough to get them all. They were all kind of marginal signals, too. W3PWW, no military radio net. W4HWT signing, and take care. Over and out.
Okay, John. Yeah, that last Sunday night was really bad. I know. I think one of the New England stations was trying to check in, and he just wiped them out. Okay, continuing on, we have a W2D. Go ahead, Mike, and then it goes to W1JUJ.
Very good. W3PWW in the old military radio net. This is W2D on the ART-13. And again, I got the wireless set 19 on the bench this morning doing alignment. And Marty, KK4RF, you're putting a Q multiplier on a TCS. Well, I can't think of any more worthwhile project than doing something like that, since the TCS has a standard IF frequency, and put that right on the inject right at the plate of the mixer, the first IF can. It will probably amaze you to the point where you will say, this is not a TCS receiver anymore, it's a 51J4. So stand by for some great news, Marty, and good luck on the Q multiplier. Over to KA1JJ from WU2.